Hey guys, it's Bree. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Borderline by Mishell Baker. This is a really interesting book that I'm pretty glad I picked up. The story is definitely has an urban fantasy type vibe. It's about a woman who is an aspiring filmmaker. She had a career-ish directing short films and was fairly highly acclaimed, but had some mental illness problems and attempted suicide. In the process, she lost her legs. And so now she's been living in a therapeutic center until this woman, Carol, shows up and offers her a mysterious job with something called the Arcadia Project. In exchange for taking on this work, Carol says that she can help get Millie, the main character, back into film. Then it gets all kinds of wonky. Millie finds out that what she's actually kind of doing is playing border police between the Fae and the human worlds. The Arcadia Project draws on people who have mental illness issues and employs them to be these kind of border guards. They are in charge of negotiating all of the different complexities of Fae law, basically. And when Millie shows up, a very prominent Fae called John Rivenholt goes missing. She and her partner Teo are then left to track down Rivenholt, only to uncover, of course, a vast conspiracy kind of thing. I really liked this story for a number of different reasons. First off, I think the characters are all really likable. The dialogue is very natural flowing. The plot is entertaining and enjoyable and fast-paced. Mishell Baker's descriptions of the LA area and like Hollywood and things I think are really fun without being overly taxing on the details. So they're just the right balance between enough detail to picture the street, but not so much that it's going on and on and on. Her characters really grow throughout the story. So for instance, the main character Millie, even though it's a very slow process of growth, you can see her mental shift in certain areas. And that's really interesting, especially because she does a good job of explaining the underlying reasons why these kind of paradigm shifts are happening and how they're being impacted by mental illness. The best part about this book, I would say, is actually that it balances talking about mental illness in a frank way with still being a fun, suspenseful, mystery book. And then that's a very hard thing to do. Specifically, Millie's dealing with borderline personality disorder. She's got people in the Arcadia Project who are dealing with, blackouts where they go violent and, emotional distress disorders and things like that. Mishell Baker does a really good job of acknowledging those for what they are, being, I would say, fairly realistic in the way that impacts the characters' relationships with one another, but she doesn't do it at the expense of the entertainment value of, chasing fairies in Hollywood. So it's not overwhelmingly dark. It's not overly cheesy, popcorn, kind of adventure mystery story. It's just, I think, the right balance. I really liked Millie in particular. I think her voice as the narrator is really enjoyable, really entertaining, feels very genuine. And Baker does a really good job of explaining the ways that Millie isolates herself without making Millie so unlikable as to be just kind of a chore to read about. So she's very obviously a flawed character, but she's not so extremely flawed that you can't kind of cheer her on. Overall, I was very impressed. Again, I'm not normally a very urban fantasy fairies in the real world kind of person. Those stories generally don't do it for me, but this is a really good one that I think was handled very well. I've heard that there's going to be a second story in the same world, and I would be really interested to pick it up. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be following the same character or a different character, But there's definitely room where if she picked up with Millie and did more of Millie's story, I would be really interested to read about it. So there you have it. That's my opinion of Borderline by Mishell Baker. Leave your comments down below if you read this, if you read something like it. You know the drill. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!